Segment, this will be a very short and quick one. We want to talk about the power of cash and leveraging asset allocation with the tool. So if you remember from the previous segment, we had 100% into Adobe. Nobody would ever have, hopefully would never have, an entire portfolio of just one stock. But for the sake of understanding the power of this, I just want to use a single stock portfolio. So when you look at this, Adobe has done very well. Remember all the green. When you look up here, you see Adobe way up here. Now, you probably can see the blue circle around it because the blue circle is indicative of the actual whole portfolio. Since it's one stock, it's right over top of it. And what I want to do is kind of demonstrate to you what the power of cash will do and how it'll readjust your portfolio. You may like Adobe. People tell you, well, it's pretty volatile or it's a tech stock, so it's highly risky. I want to show you how you can use that and based on your asset allocation, make it less risky or less volatile. You won't hear me use the term risk too often, even though it's a favorite term within financial advisor circles. I tend to talk about volatility. There is risk and real risk, but there's like 57 different flavors of it. And most of the risk is market risk anyway that you cannot diversify away. The only part you can diversify away would be the individual stock risk or unsystem type risk. So I want to show you real quick how we handle that part of it. If you look here with cash, you can actually click on the arrow and start to address cash in this way. And you'll notice if you add 20 here, you got to take 20 from somewhere. So the system allows you to do that very quickly. And if you notice now, the portfolio, which is represented by the D, shows that Adobe now, instead of being in the upper right-hand corner extreme, has now moved lower and to the left because as you go to cash, you're minimizing that volatility. So you can literally, and you can add it to cash or you can decrease it from Adobe. It doesn't matter, right? It's the same math. So if I take it from 80% Adobe, see how this has moved? It's now as volatile, aligned volatility wise with the S&P 500 index, but if you look, it significantly out earns it. So if you want to be right with the index but make more money, you've found it with 70-30, right? You're there already. But let's say you want to make money, outperform the S&P 500, but with less volatility. So if I move this, you've achieved it right there, and let's go again, and you can see you're almost down in the conservative quadrant. You're getting there very quickly. So let's look at that. And if you see with a 50-50 Adobe and 50% cash, you're now very, very much in the moderate category. You're outperforming the index with less volatility. And that's reflected, by the way, if you look up here, and remember how we've talked about the upside downside capture. You are capturing 76%, participating in 76% of the market movement, while only participating in 35% of the downside. That is, and compared to Adobe being by itself, 162 over 73. So you've significantly decreased the downside capture, meaning you don't have as much volatility to worry about, but you pay that price in the upside as well. I mean, that's the give and take. And that's why a lot of what I recommend is to manage your portfolio specifically to the downside, because you'd like to have as much upside as possible while maintaining your downside capture in wherever you feel comfortable. So if you're conservative and you like the Adobe stock, you can still be conservative in your portfolio by being 50-50 in cash and in the stock. And so in that case, you'll still see everything's very green and you have a Sortino ratio, which we like well above 3. So this is pretty positive. This is pretty solid. I would never recommend a single stock portfolio, but it gives you an idea of the power of the asset accumulation with cash. That's it for today's segment.